December 16th, 2016, Friday of the third week of Advent.
A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Thus says the Lord, observe what is right, do what is just, for my salvation is about to come, my justice about to be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, the Son of Man who holds to it, who keeps the Sabbath free from profanation and his hand from any evildoing. Let not the foreigner say, when he would join himself to the Lord will surely exclude me from his people. The foreigners who join themselves to the Lord, ministering to him, loving the name of the Lord, and becoming his servants, all who keep the Sabbath free from profanation and hold to my covenant, them I will bring to my holy mountain and make joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be acceptable on my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Thus says the Lord God, who gathers the dispersed of Israel. Others will I gather to him, besides those already gathered. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, O God, let all the nations praise you. May God have pity on us and bless us. May he let his face shine upon us. So may your way be known upon earth, among all nations your salvation. O God, let all the nations praise you. May the nations be glad and exult, because you rule the peoples in equity. The nations on the earth you guide. O God, let all the nations praise you. The earth has yielded its fruits. God, our God, has blessed us. May God bless us, and may all the ends of the earth fear him. O God, let all the nations praise you.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to the Jews, you sent emissaries to John, and he testified to the truth. I do not accept testimony from a human being, but I say this so that you may be saved. John was a burning and shining lamp, and for a while you were content to rejoice in his light. But I have testimony greater than John's. The works that the Father gave me to accomplish, these works that I perform testify on my behalf that the Father has sent me. The Gospel of the Lord.
December 16th, Friday of the third week of Advent. The first reading comes from Isaiah 56, 1-3a and 6-8. This is part of the book of the prophet Isaiah that was written after the return of the Israelites from their exile in Babylon, after 539 BC. And in this passage, which was written by a prophet or a number of prophets, we're not really sure, Israel is told that they have to measure up, that they have to live what they have been called to live. In fact, the prophet gives that as an explanation for why they're suffering from difficulties. When they returned from exile, the Israelites thought everything would be beautiful, but it wasn't. It was a difficult time. The city was destroyed. They had many attacks by nomads, etc. What is the problem? The problem is the people are not living their faith. And in this particular case, the message is unique because it talks about the foreigner who's associated himself with Israel, that he should no longer consider himself excluded. There were two tendencies after the exile. One was that the people of Israel should separate themselves from others. They should become the holy people, live the holy life, and all the others were condemned. While the other tendency was to accept what was going on during the exile. During the exile, the leaders of the Israelites were living in Babylon. So the people of the land, the poor people, lived their faith as well as they could. And they accepted the idea that pagans would worship along with them. Well, when the leaders returned, some thought this was a terrible idea. In fact, in some prophecies, you'll see the idea of separate yourself, send away your pagan wife, etc. While in other prophecies such as this, such as the book of the prophet Jonah, we see that the people of Israel should embrace the pagans because they're also God's people. If God is the only God who exists, then the pagans are also the people of God. The Gospel is from John 5:33 to 36. Jesus speaks about the fact that John the Baptist gave witness to him, but that's not what's important, because what's really important is the fact that the Father has given witness to him. In the Gospel of John, there's an insistence from beginning to end that Jesus and the Father are one. And they are inviting us into this union. That to become a Christian is to participate in the life of the Trinity, becoming one with the Father and the Son in the Spirit. And therefore, it's not simply a question of following rules, of doing certain things, but rather being in a relationship which is so profound, it changes reality. It changes the way we look at life. And may God bless us.